Now this brings me back to the third woman. My mother, my grandmother, but my girlfriend. And so I start off as a sophomore in high school, and I say to myself, who's the most popular girl in our class? Well, that was easy to pick out because all the boys were talking about one girl. And that happened to be Carol Stanger. And she was from the biggest house of anyone in our school. That was intimidating. Now, the next question became, and she was cheerleader all through junior high. She didn't run in her sophomore year. But what happened was I had to qualify myself because I had my eye on her. I saw her when I was in the 8th grade, and she was our cheerleader. I saw her. I'm just a kid. I'm 13 years of age. She's up there cheerleading. I said, that's the girl for me. Now, how am I going to ever get the date? In those days, we were dating in the 7th grade. Not like today. We were dating in the 7th grade, 7th, 8th, and 9th grade. Well, I didn't have a chance in those days. But I said, how can I distinguish myself to get her attention? And I decided that one thing that I could do is my hands. I could pull weeds, I could milk cows, I could pick potatoes, I could do all those kind of things. I could feed pigs, I could gather eggs, I could do all kinds of things with my hands. And I could paint signs. But I could also box. In our high school and school system, there were only 2 sports that counted. Basketball and boxing. Football was out. Boxing. That drew the crowds. Boxing. And what I liked about boxing is you're fighting somebody your own size. And so I go out and introduce myself to the coach. And as a 9th grader, will you take a 9th grader? He says, yes, we are permitted to take a 9th grader. You're the only one from the 9th grade that's even come to see me. And he weighed me, stripped. I was 95 pounds. The weight is under 95, the initial first weight. Okay, so then let's see how you can do. So he gets me in my little outfit, and I remember after about 3 or 4 days, then I sparred for the first time. Now he put me in the sparring ring with a kid named Keith Mason. Now Keith Mason was a junior, and I was in the 9th grade. And he had already boxed a year, full year. And this was his 2nd year. This is me, I'm just starting off, I'm green as grass. I like Keith Mason. I liked him a lot. He just died a few years ago. But we boxed, and I held my own. And he said, the coach told me, he says, you're kind of a natural. And but so was Keith Mason. But I was a farm kid. He's a city kid. So I felt like that I could hold my own. And we became great friends. But he taught me a lot. But I happened to be good at it. So at the end of the year, I now get a letter, a high school letter, IF letter in boxing. I buy my sweater. I got 4 stripes here. 3 are covered over, and I got 1 that's being shown. I'm the only kid in the junior high that's wearing a high school sweater with a high school letter and a stripe. Now I stand out And so I compensate for my stuttering, which was horrible, and I'll get into that story later. Horrible. Horrible. We don't want to think about it, so horrible. But anyway, still, though I can't talk much, but I got that sweater. So now we're in the sophomore. And I tell my friend of mine, sat next to one of the classes, would you ask Carol Stanger if she'd go with me to the sophomore hop? First school dance of the school year. And the answer came back, yes. So now the question became, how do I pick her up? What do I do when I go to get her? What will I do if her father answers the door? How can I can't say my name. What will I do? Well, sure enough, her father answered the door. What's your name, young man? I can't say it. I tried. I couldn't say it. One of the horriblest moments of my life. I want to make a big impression. Gosh, I got my sweater. That didn't mean much. He asked me what my name was. That didn't mean anything. It meant nothing, frankly. But Carol finally came onto the scene. I struggled. I couldn't get anything out. I know my face turned red. I know that I could feel the veins popping out on my forehead. I couldn't get the words out. I couldn't say Doug. D is a hard consonant. I hated my name. How do I say Doug? The problem is Carol. That's a hard consonant. How am I going to say Carol? So I had 2 strikes against me. Well, she emerges. Oh, Dad, meet Doug Snarr. Whew. Saved by the bell. Get to the school dance. Go to introduce her to Don Bybee, my buddy. I go to say, Don, for some reason, Don popped out on me. I'd like you to introduce you to Smiley. I substituted the word Smiley because I could say that. I couldn't say Carol, so I said Smiley because she always smiled. And it was a true characterization of her. And I was saved by the bell again.